the host of the stupidest show ever, Jim Messina! Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. All right, Jim Messina here for VintageDrumStock.com. We've been around for a long time. Say, we've got a big show planned for you today and in the coming weeks. Got a lot of video to show you. We're going to cover the Chicago Vintage and Custom Drum Show. This year was the 30th anniversary. Big deal. We're going to hear from Rob Cook. Little walk around. I wasn't able to attend this year, as were many of the prominent collectors, to tell you the truth. But we're just glad there was a show. Plus, I've got a lot of new things to show you. There are some new people on the scene that are really making some waves. Tim Northup is one of them with his museum that he's putting together, okay? Fantastic guy. I've had many conversations with him. As you know, probably, many of you, I've been selling off my collection. Yes, my collection of 25, 30 years. There comes a time in every collector's life when you got to do that. So anyways, I've been doing that. And a lot of stuff went to Tim Northup, as you'll see. So we've got plenty of videos. We got Mark Cooper, Bunny Carlos, Mike Corrado, Dave Brown, the famous English collector from overseas. Everybody's in it. So plenty of video to show you. But right now, we're going to hear a little something from Rob Cook at this year's show. Okay, so here's Rob.
Hey Jim, Rob Cook here. Welcome to the 2021 Chicago Drum Show, the delayed 30th anniversary. We hope you'll be here next year. 2022 is going to be kind of a blowout. We had a very good show this year. A lot of buyers came. The exhibitors are happy. I think we've gotten through it pretty safely. Everybody's been courteous and respectful, but there's a lot of pent up desire for a drum show, and I think 2022 is going to be huge. So we'll look for you then.
All right, let's hear it for Rob Cook. He is the man that makes it happen. What's with you? You never know what's going to happen on this show here. All right, if you just tuned in, Jim Messina's my name, or VintageDrumsTalk.com, all right? And we are showing all kinds of videos and rehashing a little bit about the Chicago show. You're going to see everybody around here, okay? Like I said, I got tons of stuff, all right? More interviews with Rob Cook, Bunny Carlos, or, excuse me, Venezuela Carlos. Is that enough? I know I've known him as Bunny all these years, but he wants to be Venezuela. What if I should change my name? I don't know. Anyways, you saw I had our cat. That's our family cat. He's a great guy. But you know, there's another cat lover out there. I don't think he has the cat anymore, but I know he loves cats. Speaking of cats, he's a really cool cat. I'm green with envy, as most people are, collectors, for this guy. I speak none other than the infamous Mark Cooper. We're going to look at some sea green, okay? Here's one of the videos. Mark, stupendous, okay? Check this out. All this sea green. Fantastic. Say, everybody, we are inside the hall now. Jim Messina with Vintage Drums Talk. We're taking a break from the outside at the Rebates Cafe, but look, I'm back with Mark Cooper again of Cooper's Vintage Drums. Say hello, Mark.
Hello, Jim.
Hey, so good to be back in this room because there's a big vibe going on here. A lot of noise, a lot of excitement. And look, Mark Cooper has come back once again. Sea green, if that's what it's all about. Check this out right down here. Mark, I'm going to let you go and just look. Last year you were the hit of the show with a sea green set.
This year I'm a flop.
No, but look, you've done it again. Sea green again, only there are some differences, and we're going to take a look at those. Why don't you tell us about the set?
Well, this is a roughly 1928 to 1930, somewhere around there, Slingerland sea green pearl drum set. This is a Slingerland artist model with a tone flange built inside. Beautiful sea green and art gold hardware, which is an imitation gold lacquer. Imitation gold made from lacquer.
Now, you mentioned a tone flange. For some of you who don't know what tone flange is, tell them, Mark. You can't. Usually, he had exact reproductions made. So if you've got a tone flange drum that doesn't have its flange, you can get that reproduction from Mike Corrado. Get a hold of him. What else do we have, Mark, here? As far as last year, you had the hit of the show, Slingerland Radio King set in sea green, right?
Yes, sea green pearl also.
Beautiful.
It's a late 1930s, early 1940s. And this bass drum originally was a 28, and it was cut down in the late 40s to a 14 by 24 size, which is pretty amazing that they could do something like that.
What's with the green bongos?
Those are a pair of Mexican bongos.
Yeah.
They're not really sea green pearl, but they do sort of fit into my scenario.
It's in the family. It's in the family. Now let's just swing right around because it's a sea green booth.
It just never ends here with the green.
Look at this lineup.
Here is a late 30s Leedy parallel, Broadway parallel. This is a late 1920s, early 30s Slingerland Fancher model. This also has a tone flange inside.
Okay.
Here we have a late 1920s Liberty snare drum, and next to this guy we have about a 1935 Leedy Broadway.
Now before you move on, what am I seeing right here?
You're seeing an extra hole.
Okay.
You would have to point that out, wouldn't you?
I just thought
You're supposed to accentuate the positive. Draw your eye away from the negative.
Okay.
Here we have another same drum, gold hardware. And last but certainly not least, is the green mystery drum. No one seems to know who made this, but it's also sea green pearl or green pearl. And there's suspicions that it's possibly a Carlton drum, which
Carlton,
is
okay,
English.
that's English, yes.
And if it is, they call theirs Greenwood pearl, like one word, Greenwood.
Yes, it is. You can see the difference.
Yes,
but it's in the family,
yeah.
and it belongs in this display.
Right. I misspoke actually. Leedy referred to this color as green pearl.
Or just plain green pearl.
Slingerland called it sea green pearl.
This is a fantastic display of sea green. It's one of my favorite colors, and it's been Mark's color for years. And really, it goes kind of with a family of colors, a lavender pearl.
Right.
I forget what else they would kind of promote with that. It was sea green, lavender, some of those other...
Rose pearl.
Yes.
Yeah, coral pearl.
Yeah, they're all kind of in the same family. And it's just amazing that Mark would gather a collection of such a rare sea green finish. It's usually the talk of the show, and Mark, you really wow them. We've got some other snares here that we've seen before, but let's take a look right in front here, Mark.
Here we have a 1935 Broadcaster, which is quite unique because it also has Slingerland Radio King stamped into it right next to the Broadcaster stamp. And the reason being, the Gretsch Company had been using the name Broadcaster since 1928. In 1935, Slingerland started to use the name, and they were told to not do it anymore, or else. And so that's how the Radio King name was born. And this drum is sort of a transition because it's stamped Slingerland Radio King and Broadcaster. Very strange.
How does that affect the price of something like this? I mean,
I think it adds interest to it. And also, a collector pointed out to me today that the reason these extra holes are here is because when I found this drum, it had a Radio King muffler in these 2 extra holes. Well, I put the correct muffler on, and he said it could have been done at the factory that way.
Huh, all right.
Very possible. Another similar drum, it's also a 1935 Broadcaster, almost identical. This is a 1940s Radio King, solid maple shell.
Uh-huh. Now, he's rattling through these, and I'm just mesmerized by all these. When you're talking broadcasters, you don't come by these drums very easily, but Mark, he's been selling these for a long time, and he's just a fantastic collector, so that's why you can go through them. Oh, by the way, that's just a broadcaster. There's a very rare drum. So I'm amazed when he does that. Let's continue on now. Okay. These we've seen before.
I think we've discussed these before. These were started out as horrible drums in horrible condition. Everything was stripped down. They were in basket cases, basically. I sent them to Adrian Kirchler in Italy.
There's that name again.
There's that magical name. And
yes.
He worked his magic on it, waved his wand, and lo and behold, he turned this into a Slingerland Black Beauty.
Uh-huh.
Originally, it just had the engraving, the Slingerland engraving, Slingerland USA.
So this originally was what?
An artist model.
Just an artist
model.
I love
these guys.
Tony Lewis, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And Adrian did an exact replica of the Black Beauty engraving. Same story with this one. He did an exact duplicate, a facsimile, if you will, of this is called a Ludwig & Ludwig standard sensitive. It has snare wires on the inside and on the outside.
Oh,
I'm sorry, on the top and the bottom.
Wait a minute. So how does this differ from a new era sensitive?
Well, a new era has all the mechanism inside the drum.
Okay, I see. Very nice. We were just discussing that with
and there's one here at the show too.
Oh, I want to definitely see that. Now, are we missing something here, Mark?
Yes, I let one of them get away from the trilogy here.
If you remember last year, there were 3 drums that were redone by Adrian Kirchler, and the other was a Leedy.
Yeah, 1930s, early 30s Leedy with what they call the Thunderbird pattern.
Yes.
And that now is in a collection of Larry Matthews.
Very great. All right, let's move on.
Here we have about a late 20s. Wow, it's a little noisy in here.
Yeah.
A late 20s artist model, heavyweight brass shell, made by Slingerland Company.
And this is a 6.5?
6.5 by 14.
Okay, there we go.
This is its little brother here. This is a 5.5 or 5 by 14.
What?
Same model.
Not great. Now here's a drum we've seen before, and I love these appliques. They're always interesting to me. Tell us again, what's this, Mark?
This is a 1933, 32-33 Slingerland artist model with a full dress appliques, as you mentioned. And finally, we have a late 20s replica of Rose Pearl. This actually came off of a Japanese drum, and it was put on. Originally, the drum had a rose pearl finish, but it was completely destroyed.
Oh, and you did a fine job. I mean, I did see.
This was done by the great Jack Lawton.
Ah!
He took the piece of pearl and he.
Another name in restoration that's been around a long time, Jack Lawton. And I did see the pictures of the restoration process. He had to chip off all that old stuff.
Oh, but that was a lot of work.
Great looking drum, a lot of work. Well, we've got a fine collection of representation from Mark Cooper, Cooper's Vintage Drums. He always comes up with some interesting things. Look at this.
This is a 1936-37 New Era Slingerland New Era foot pedal.
Now the only thing that the footboard looks similar to me, but this I've never seen. What's with the beater? I've never seen that.
It's just a fully adjustable beater.
Huh.
Raise it and lower it. And you can see
yeah.
New Era. Only made for about a year.
That's incredibly rare. Fantastic. Beautiful. Always a good showing from Mark Cooper, my good buddy. Now stay tuned. We're going to be going back to the rebeat stage, the cafe stage, and Mark and I are going to have some really in-depth conversations about some very high-level drums. Stick around for that. We'll be right back. JC Messina, Vintage Drums Talk at the 2014 Chicago Vintage and Custom Drum Show. Don't go away. Yes, sir. Fantastic. Mark Cooper blows me away. I'm telling you, he's got that sea green and all that Slingerland knowledge. You know what I mean? More from Mark coming up because I've done a bunch of segments with Mark over the years. Okay, so plenty of stuff from Mark. But all right, we're gonna run another video here. Here's something from the show that you're going to really love, and it'll show you a lot of what goes on at the show, okay? All right, so check it out. Guys, we've got a surprise guest. I never knew this was going to happen. Some of you guys are going to recognize this person. It's Johnny Croviato. How you doing, man? My Jim Messina, we've never met, but it's a pleasure to talk to you on VintageDrumsTalk.com.
Very good.
How's the show going for you this year?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
What can we expect from Croviato Drums this year? I mean,
we're just going to continue to continue to build our drums, and the quality and craftsmanship and all that will continue. We have a new baseball bat edge, which we mean is a very rounded edge, similar to the Slingerland, Ludwigs, and old Radio Kings that were actually styled for calfskin heads.
I see.
We introduced that in January, and it's getting a really great response.
Is it producing that same sound from that
Yes,
era?
but a little, yes, precisely.
That's
a little,
the intent?
That's the intent, with a little more clarity and definition.
Is there one here at the show?
There's one snare drum here at the show.
I'd like to see that, and I think we're going to go seek that out, you guys. Now, Johnny Croviato is a huge name in drum building for how many years now?
30.
30 years. I remember, what was it, the Lake Superior drum?
Yes, that was in 1998, 99. Yes. And why I support this show is I really started to collect vintage drums back in the 70s.
Okay, so you were in on it early.
1974, I got my first Radio King for $5.
There you go. $5, you guys.
$5, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I've always really loved vintage drums, man.
So did that
really loved them?
What got you into the building
I was
aspect?
collecting. Building. I just got interested in the way the old drums were made.
Because I've seen
I
your
really
stuff.
studied a lot of them. I studied a lot of them. And then finally one day, I was always intrigued with the one-piece shell.
Yes.
Leedy.
Right.
Slingerland, of course. Ludwig.
So are all Croviato shells one ply?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So
we don't do plied shells. Just one piece.
I see. Now, I tell you, I've seen some of these drums, you guys, and they're beautiful.
Thank you.
They've been in the snare drum Olympics, haven't they?
Oh, yes. Yeah. When John Aldridge was down in Nashville, Tennessee. During the Summer NAMM show back in the 90s.
Okay.
We won several events down there. It was really fun.
These drums have a real reputation. Now, they're not a vintage drum. Of course, they're new drums, but the Croviato company, that name is really coming on strong in the last, 10 years?
Yes, I would say.
You've really done something. I mean, since that to me, that Lake Superior drum, that's when I first heard about it.
And then our association with DW, we were able to get associated with DW in 1993, and that really helped our company a lot as well. We had a collaboration at that time, a Craviotto DW snare drum. Then in 1998-99, I did the Lake Superior.
Okay.
And it was a huge hit. And now extremely collectible.
Fantastic.
Extremely collectible drum.
Well, look, we want to go take a look at that drum right now. Johnny, Craviotto, I'm telling you, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I hope I see you next year at the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, man.
Jim, welcome. We're at the Chicago Drum Show 2021, and sad, too bad you couldn't be in here in person, but next year it's going to be the big one. What we got here, this is the funnest thing I brought, the best. This is the funniest set I've ever seen. Gretsch 60s, all original, 20 bass, 12-14 matching snare, and the Funsters. We're from Minnetonka, suburb of Minneapolis, and just a really, really cool little set. My Maytag man, of course, he does smoke. He's trying to quit, but, you know, cigarettes are expensive, right? Here's the other set I want to show you. Over here, LA Camco. Very rare Stradivarius 20-inch bass drum, and it has 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 toms. And what's cool about this set, not only the condition and everything, it's mint, is these were never offered in the catalog, the 8 and the 10, and fortunately LA put the bearing edges on the bottom, so somebody could put snare drum lugs on and put bottom heads on them. On the 8 and 10, which is basically, if I keep the set, I'm going to do that, although I think the set would be better off in a recording studio. And it's too many tom-toms for me. I'm my own drum tech. One on top, one floor. But I'm pretty light this year. My theme is wait till next year, Jim. And as far as the sound goes, the voice is a little hoarse, so I think next year we'll work on that duet. Okay, buddy? Okay, see ya.
Whenever you're ready. Hey, this is Randy Rainwater at the 2021 Drum Show in Chicago, back in St. Charles. What's not to like about St. Charles? Little different this year after post-COVID, but seems to still be going good. And hopefully get to see everybody. Get to see Jim next year. Where you at? But yeah, it's turned out to be a pretty good show. Back to you, Jim.
Hey, this is Vincent from Vitalizer Drums. We missed you, Jim, at 21 show, and here are some cool old pedals for you to look at. This is a Martin Fleetfoot from the early 40s, one of the first ones made. This one's actually probably post-war because it doesn't say patent pending. The older ones will say patent pending here, or patent applied for. So let's call this mid to late 40s. 1949 Speed King in the transitional year, with the skinny footboard and the tower. And yeah, these are some pretty rare pedals.
Hey Jim, this is Chris with Hawthorne Drum Shop. We are at the Chicago Drum Show. It's Sunday. I'm having a great time. I haven't left my house in a long time. but it's super awesome to be around like a ton of drummers, a ton of old drums. I brought a bunch of old drums here myself, and there's so many other people here with older drums. We miss you here. We wish you were here with us this year. And hopefully this video is awesome for everybody who's watching it. Back to you, Jim.
Hey, Jim. Jim from Chicago Drum. We're here at the 2021 Chicago Drum Show. We're out, we're having fun, shaking hands, showing drums. Come on out. Back to you, Jim.
Hey, Jim. Sorry you're not at the show, but I'm here showing off some of my engraving stuff. And I've got a couple to sell, but a couple of the keepers like this one here. It's got a late 1800s shell and AK hoops. John Aldridge and I both engraved on this one, and Mike Morgan is working on the throw-off for me, so it's going to have 4 engravers. I'm pretty excited about that. This one here's got kind of a deco pattern. It's a World Max. It's got some Ludwig throw-off because they're so reliable. Really like that one. This one's going to Norway, and it's going to be a gift for someone that's naming his son after the person that's giving the gift, and that's pretty amazing to be involved in something like that. Got another World Max that's for sale with a wild rose pattern on here, so getting a lot of interest in the engraving, and looking forward to getting some more work to do. But thanks a lot, Jim. Have a great time.
Hey, what's going on? This is Eric Binder. I'm here with Vintage Drums Talk, and we're going to look at some different old Ks today. I actually have a cool variety of stamps here for us. This is a new stamp, so this is like late 60s to the early 70s. A lot of guys played these. Elvin played these later on in his career. Then next oldest, we have the intermediate stamp, which is right around the mid-60s. And these are also great symbols. The new stamps and the intermediate stamps have a very similar process in how they were made. And if you look at this, which is an old stamp, it's the old stamp 4A, so like 1959-ish, you could tell very differently how the bells are a lot flatter, a lot bigger, and the profiles are lower. That's why a lot of these old stamps are so much more desirable. They create a lot more complex tones to them, and they have very individual characteristics with them. The old stamps, again, are very desirable. The older they get, old stamp 3, old stamp 2, they get really, really desirable, especially when you get into the 22s. They become very, very rare, hard to find. A lot of people say, I don't know how true this is, but most of these symbols ended up cracked because they didn't make it through the rock and roll era. So it's very interesting to see some of these, how they survived through that time. For example, what we do is, you know, to save a lot of these old Ks that might be cracked, we can cut out the repair, and you're left with still a great symbol. So that's our old Ks, and Jim, back to you.
Hey Jim, this is Bart, your friend from the Drum History Podcast. We're missing you here in 2021. This is my small booth set up here with Vincent from Vitalizer Drums. For people who don't know the podcast, it's almost 100 episodes in now, and it's all about everything vintage and history, and all about the drums. So Ludwig, Gretsch, really specific topics that I think if you play the drums, you'll really like it. Jim has been on the show, Vintage Drums Talk Jim, and he did painted drum heads in the 1920s, and was an absolute blast. So yeah, you can check me out online at drumhistorypodcast.com. We're having a great time here at the 2021 Chicago Drum Show, and it's wrapping up today on Sunday, and hope to see you next to your gym, and thanks for checking it out, and we'll see you guys later.
Everybody, Jim Messina. Still, I want to show you something else. Check this out right here. Look at this. Only 50 made. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it's a DW TrueCast, only 50 made. This is number 38. Unbelievable. Now, this is available for you guys, okay? I'm telling you, it's heavy. You will not believe it. It's like I don't know if it's solid brass. You guys probably know more about it than I do. But here's one right here, available for you, $3,900. Okay, that's a great price. This is going to be, I mean, this is like gold, I'm telling you. Number 38 out of 50, and then that's it, no more. Get a hold of me. Jim Messina, VintageDrumsTalk.com.